I got my old plow out, my old Western. I put it on Dad's truck last year when I got the Snow Dog. So I've got it out here and I'm going to drop the fluid out, change the little filter in there on the pump so we don't ruin another pump, because then we're like 160 bucks. And for some reason, every year this is plugging up the pump. It's not plugging up the pump, it's plugging up the filter, and then I believe it's starving the pump of fluid, and then it's ruining the pump. Last year, because of that, I completely put in new rams, new hoses, all new fluid. It's got a new pump, got a new filter on the pump, got a new motor, and so it's pretty much got a bunch of new parts. I don't think that it'll plug the filter again, but I'm just gonna do that every year. The filter is like 50 cents or $1 or something. So I ordered a whole bunch of them when I had the plow in my truck, and I was gonna every year put a new filter on just so I don't ruin the pump, because like I said, it's 160 bucks for that pump. So it's been a year. Before we get it out, I'm going to change that filter for Dad, and then I may hook this up and try it out, make sure everything's working okay. We got a little skiff of snow. It ain't much, but enough to make sure everything's working okay. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is take off these cables to get them out of my way. These are 1/2 inch, and make sure you do not spin these studs. If you spin these, you will wreck the connection. So if you got to put a wrench on there and hold the other side, then do that. You do not want to spin these studs. You'll wreck your motor. Okay, with them out of the way, I'm going to take my fill plug off. Okay, fill plug's out. Now I'm going to take out my drain plug on the bottom. And actually I did this off camera, and the first time I broke my hex. I broke the hex trying to get that off. I had to use it's a 1/4 inch hex, so I had to use a 1/4 inch socket, and I used my 1/2 inch, and it did finally bust loose, but I've never really had any trouble with that before, and not sure why I'm having trouble now, but you might have trouble with this bottom one breaking loose. Now this has got the blue fluid in it. It actually looks fairly dirty. So, I got it. Okay, next thing after that, I take out these 2 bolts that hold the motor on. And they are 5/8. This one here holds on a little ground deal and the holder for the wires. This side doesn't hold anything, but the stud here is in the way for me using the socket, so I had to use a open end wrench. So just hit it to break the seal and pull it out. Try not to rip your gasket unless you have a new gasket. I don't think I have one, but I might have one. She's getting hung up there. I don't know why she's getting hung up. Okay, now you can see down in there, and you can see it is very dirty in there. I am not sure why this is so dirty in there when most of the stuff is new. I mean, you can just see the crud in there, and you can see look at the filter. It's just full of crud. So I'm going to pull that out, and I'm going to wipe the inside of this out as good as I can, clean it up, drop a new filter in there, and put some new fluid in there. That filter just snaps onto the end of that pump. Just going to take like a screwdriver, pop it off. I'll show you the new one. Much better. Just took a screwdriver and some rags, cleaned it out. Gonna snap in the new filter. Let me show you that filter that came out of there. Look at that thing. Look how dirty that is. I would have ruined that pump in no time. Dad would have probably. Look at this. This is what they're supposed to look like. This is a new one. It's the one I pulled out. So definitely a good idea to change these every year. That's what I'm going to do. So let's go snap this in. You just push it on and she will snap onto the pump. So when you put this filter in, you got to put it in at an angle. It can't go on straight because it won't fit. There's a clearance issue. So you got to stick it on at an angle and kind of work it on. Definitely is not much room. Probably got to take a screwdriver and push it on. Just took my screwdriver and pried it on. Don't break the screen when you do something like that. Ready for new fluid. Well, actually I'm not ready for new fluid. I have to drop the pump back on. Drop my gasket on. Drop the pump motor back on. You gotta go crazy with these bolts because all this is aluminum. I can find my plug in this mess here. I'm gonna put my plug back in. Put my cables back on. This is actually the nicer pump. It's got an actual ground stud. So that's actually the better. I'm ready to fill this until it comes out of the hole there. So I'm going to start filling this up. And I've got the lift ram all the way down, and I can't really do the blade straight, so the angle cylinders are where they're going to be. So I'm going to just fill this up until it runs out of the hole right here. I think it's 1.5 quarts. This holds. Must be getting close. And there she is. Put my fill plug in. And we're done. That's it. Gonna get this hooked up, button this up, put my tools away, and we're gonna hook it up and give it a try. Well, it's starting to rain out here. Testing out Dad's plow here, and it feels pretty bad compared to my new one. Pretty bad. Well, I guess it does the job. That's all that matters. Dad's front end needs a little bit of help, I think. Needs either a torsion bar crank or maybe some timbrins. But I don't think I got much video left. Much memory on my video, so I guess I'll just let her run out here. Definitely a smaller blade, way smaller. Well, now it's turning into sleet. I didn't even know they were calling for rain and sleet today, tonight. Oh, the plow works pretty darn good. I mean, this plow is like 30, 40 years old or something. I mean, I could still be running it on my truck today. You know, it just... It's paid for itself many, many times over.